Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics Virtual Employment Opportunities Fair. Today, we will be hearing from 7 employers hiring for positions across the TDL sector. Each presenter will speak for approximately 5 minutes to give you some information about their company, and will highlight the job openings they currently have. After presentations have concluded, we will then be transitioning into small group discussions with employers. Small group discussions will be held as one continuous 30-minute session, and you will be able to move freely from room to room. Today's session is being recorded and will be made available on the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel for you to refer to later. One final thing that I would like to note before we kick things off here is that if you do not have the most recent version of Zoom client for meetings downloaded, you may want to go ahead and do so. This is going to make sure that you can utilize all of the most recent features that Zoom has available, more specifically for the breakout rooms. This is going to allow you to be able to move freely from room to room, which is kind of a key feature of the Illinois WorkNet virtual job fair platform that we use. So if you're finding when we reach that portion of the event that you're having difficulties joining, this may be one of the issues that we do have. Again, you can download that at zoom.us/download. If you have to leave the session in order to do so, that's fine. I will monitor the waiting room and make sure that you are let back in. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and kick things off. I would like to introduce Robert Lewis with the YWCA TDL Sector Center. Robert, are you available to present, sir?
I am, Daniel, and thank you very much for that introduction for our hiring event today. Hello, Chicago. Again, my name is Robert Lewis, and I am the Business Development Manager for the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnerships, Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics Sector Center. It is an honor for myself and our team to be a bridge for many of the great TDL employer opportunities that exist in this industry and to connect them with the wonderful, talented citizens here in our great city of Chicago. Now, many of you might be saying, wow, that's wonderful. But I'm not quite sure if I'm great at being a truck driver or if I even want to be a truck driver. Well, that's great as well, because in this industry, it has so much more to offer than just pushing down the road in a big rig. Now, while that's certainly a thriving and ever-growing opportunity for many to have, some, or maybe even with 12 to 24 months of experience driving, a CDL license. So many are able to get into a career commanding 6 figures for a salary in truck driving, but not all are interested in doing that type of occupation. So when you hear TDL, or Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics, we are aware that the world has and is changing. So we must adapt to overcome and participate and to thrive. So with that being said, slide number 2. The next slide, Daniel. Thank you. Myself and our talent coordinator, Ms. Stacy Delaney-Roney, can be reached by emailing us at tdlsc@ywcachicago.org. Again, that's tdlsc@ywcachicago.org. Or visit our web landing page located on the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago site at ywcachicago.org. Again, that's ywcachicago.org. Now, when you get to that page, put your cursor on the Our Work link, which will reveal the Economic Empowerment Services link. Click there and scroll down until you see the link that says the TDL Sector Center. Then click there and you will find all of our most current transportation, distribution, and logistics employer job offerings, upcoming events, and training opportunities that you can take full advantage of now. Next slide, please.
Sorry about that, Robert. Looks like there's a little bit of a technical issue with the presentation, but I'll keep navigating back to the slide as you need me to, okay?
No worries. And if you could go back maybe 2 slides, that one is perfect. So in lieu of this opportunity to speak with all the great folks here in Chicago, I wanted to let you guys know what the TDL Sector Center has to offer. Number 1, if you can go up 1 slide for me, Daniel. back to the presentation box. And I'll just speak to it. You can go back one more slide. There we go. So we have to offer job readiness training to help folks with their resumes, also to help with interview prep, and just general knowledge and information of what the TDL sector has to offer when it comes to employment. What to know and to prepare yourself in getting in front of some of the professionals at our employer partners today that you will see personally. We also offer assistance with putting you in front of the employer, which we call that employer referrals. All of our services, by the way, are free 99, as I like to call it. So you don't have to pay for anything when you work with the TDL Sector Center. And we also will pair you with some of the American Job Center partners that we work with, such as the North American Job Center, or BCS, which they're on this call today. Mr. Ron Haas is the contact there. And then the Southwest Suburban Cook County American Job Center, or CIRCA, Mr. Hugo Avila, who unfortunately was not able to join us for this call. But I also like to note that we not only can help you find career-making employment, but we are a one-stop all-shop partner in other vital areas. Now, we all know that getting a job is important, but when life happens the way that it does, many other needs may be in the way of you starting that bright new and thriving career. So here at the YWCA Metro Chicago, we have life-changing resources to help navigate life's challenges, such as wellness and mental health services, family support services, child care provider services, STEM and youth programming, sexual violence support services, women's health exchange, and so much more. Again, all of our services can be found at ywcachicago.org. That's ywcachicago.org. So I'd like to go to slide 4. Next slide, please. We also have here, one more slide back, Daniel, if you can do it. We also have the TDL Youth Program. For anyone who knows someone between the ages of 18 to 24 and would like to get into this great thriving industry, transportation, distribution, and logistics, here's the program, folks, in a nutshell. Participants will receive 12 weeks of technical and soft skill training, including 4 weeks of paid work experience, earn industry recognized credentials, and learn directly from the experts, such as the experts that are here on this call today with our employers. Here are the requirements. They must be 18 to 24 years old, have a high school diploma or GED. They must pass a drug screening, and a background check is required. Those are the requirements, folks. So if you know anyone 18 to 24, they don't know quite what kind of career they want to get into, but they know they want to jump into the workforce and they have some ambition, this would be a great opportunity for them. For more information, please contact our colleague, B. Seiler, at beatrice.seiler@ywcachicago.org. This information will also be provided after the event if you reach out to us at our contact information, which will be provided on the next slide. Next slide, please. So again, our contact information is tdlsc@ywcachicago.org. So please put that down somewhere so that you can reach out to the YWCA TDL Sector Center after the event, after you've had a chance to speak to all the great employers that are here. I want to thank you so much for attending today's virtual job fair and logging in and seeing what great opportunities are here existing. So again, thank you. Have a great career finding day. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first employer, and that would be the Chicago Transit Authority, or better known as the CTA, and with our colleague, Lindsay. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Robert, and thank you all for joining us today. Looking forward to sharing a little bit about CTA and then talking to several of you in the breakout rooms afterwards. So we can go to the next slide. Again, my name is Lindsay Estupiñan. I'm the manager for outreach and engagement at CTA. So I help tangentially with the recruitment team and share a little bit about what we're going to do today or who we are. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Chicago Transit Authority, CTA, if you're from the Chicago or Chicagoland area, which I assume everybody is. It's a big part of our city. You can't miss it, right? At CTA, we have over 10,000 employees, both union and non-union folks. So this means the people like our bus operators or our rail operators, our customer service assistants, the people you mostly associate with the CTA, those are likely going to be some of our union employees. People who are more behind the scenes, kind of like myself in administration or kind of the business side of things, we tend to be non-union folks, but we've got a mix of both. So it's a really interesting place to work because of that. We serve Chicago and 35 area suburbs, and we do that through 130 bus routes and 8 rail lines. We have locations around the city. So our main headquarters location is at 567 West Lake Street, and that's kind of our administrative building. But then we also have 7 bus garages, 9 rail terminals and shops and a warehouse and several other locations around the city. And the place that you would work out of really is just dependent on the job that you would apply for and be offered, and then also dependent on the manpower needs from an individual team. So for example, our bus garages, we have 7 bus garages, a couple on the north side, couple on the west, couple on the south side. If you become a bus operator, we will assign you to the garage that has the greatest need for operators at that particular time. There are opportunities over time to change. If you, let's say you get first stationed at 103rd and you live more on the north side, you want to move to North Park. Over time, over seniority, people do get to move with some of those work locations just kind of after you've put in the time and effort. So where you start is not necessarily where you finish, but just to kind of give you an overview of how that works. Next. So as Robert mentioned, transportation, huge field, right? And I know when people think of CTA, they rightly think of our operations team. So our bus operators, rail operators, CSAs, those people who really are on the front lines. And they make up a huge portion of our workforce, and the work that they do is incredibly important. But I think we don't often think about the work that goes on behind the scenes at CTA, which includes things like maintenance. So our rail cars and our buses, they need to be maintained, they need to be fixed, make sure they're in tip-top shape. We have an infrastructure team, and that includes our construction, most of our trades, our engineering department. I like to think of them as the people who build and maintain the tracks that our trains run on. So they are maintaining all of our facilities and all of that infrastructure to make sure our structures are safe. Next. We also have a robust law team. So we have everything from attorneys and corporate litigators to paralegals, legal assistants, also a large technology team. We have a lot of systems that need to be maintained and making sure that they're running smoothly so that our people in the field can communicate so that, things like our desktop computers are taken care of and working well. So we have a really large technology team who's responsible for all of that. And then finally, we have our administrative offices, which are kind of like human resources, the team that I work on, finance, communication, safety, some of the other folks who are behind the scenes who are needed for us to run smoothly on a day-to-day basis. But again, you might not think of them off the top of your head. So a lot of opportunity at CTA. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention again, our biggest number of jobs that we have are bus operators, our bus mechanics, and our customer service assistants. We are always looking for people in those roles, but we have a lot of other opportunities as well. Next. So I mentioned them before, I'll mention them again. Really briefly, our bus operators are the people behind the wheel on those buses that you ride. The starting salary for this role is $23.44 an hour, and that includes 30 to 45 days of paid training. And we also help you get your CDL. So if you don't have that credential yet, no problem. We include that in your training, and it's paid training that you would get that rate of $23.44. Bus operator starts as a part-time position, but you can transition to full-time, usually after a year or so. And that's a position that does come with medical benefits. Again, bus mechanic, those are the people, the men and women who are repairing and just making sure our buses are in the best shape possible. They are full-timers from the start, and they start at a salary of $29.82 an hour, and that comes with full benefits. So, you know, a good salary and a good set of benefits that comes along with that job, and in fact, both of those jobs. So yeah, if anybody has questions about these jobs, I'd be happy to talk to you more about them in the breakout session or any of the other things I kind of mentioned already. Next. So all of our positions are going to be posted on our website, transitchicago.com/careers. You might see them on a couple other websites out there, but it'll always direct you back to our main site to apply. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. But we do typically post our jobs on Fridays. So if you're a person who likes to make notes, likes to you know, write things in a calendar, you can put a note on your calendar for every Friday to go check the new jobs at CTA, and you'll see some new things every week. For the most part. Most of our jobs are typically posted for at least 2 weeks. Some of them, like customer service assistant and bus operator, we are recruiting for that year round. We always have a need for those roles, so you'll see that up with more consistency. We also post the jobs that are, we call them upcoming jobs. They're jobs that you're not actually able to apply for right this second, but they're things that we're kind of working on the back end. We've had hiring managers who tell us, hey, I need XYZ position. And so we put that out ahead of time to say, hey, we're planning to be hiring for XYZ position. And that allows you to then kind of keep an eye on that open jobs page to see when it does become available, if there's something that catches your eye. Next. So really, really briefly, I'm going to go through our hiring timeline, what you could expect. Like I said, jobs are posted on Fridays. Once somebody is selected for the process to move ahead, it typically takes 4 to 6 weeks to get through from, you know, from application all the way to new employee orientation. So just kind of bear that in mind to know what you're dealing with. But the first step is to apply on our website, transitchicago.com/careers. The second step is a test, maybe 1 or 2 tests, in fact, depending on the job. So for example, bus operators have to take an online exam, and it's just an exam about like customer service and general knowledge, kind of things along those lines, but it is something they have to take, but some of the other roles don't have to take that, right? So it just always depends on the role. The next step is an interview. Depending on the job, it might be 1 interview or 2. They're all, the first interview would be by the phone, a second interview would be virtually through Zoom. And we've been doing that, of course, like many others in light of the pandemic. The next step, if you're offered the job, is onboarding, where we, you know, start collecting your documents. All jobs will require a physical and a drug screening. Some jobs, for example, our bus operators will require fatigue training and to get a sleep apnea certificate, just to make sure, you know, you stay awake behind the wheel, super important, right? And then finally, the last step is new employee orientation before you would actually begin your job. So all of this hopefully is taking place within 4 to 6 weeks. We try to move people through as fast as we can, but you know, things happen from time to time. But that's just kind of a rough estimate of what you could expect in that time frame if you're chosen to move forward. All right, and this is just another kind of quick review over the application itself. You see the website listed in the first bullet. You'll fill out a profile, which is just some basic demographic information about yourself. You'll do that once, and then if you apply to a bunch of different jobs, that's fine. You still only have to do that profile once, so it's a one-time thing. You'll submit, of course, an application to each of the individual jobs you're interested in. And we do recommend submitting a resume with those applications that's tailored to the job that you're interested in. So we want to know how the skills that we list out on the job description, how you actually meet those skills, how you meet the requirements, to make sure that you have the qualifications that we're looking for. And my last slide, I'll just say, if you are not yet, I would encourage you to create a LinkedIn profile. If you haven't, follow us on LinkedIn. It's where we share more about our career opportunities. We share more about our company culture, and it's just a great way to get to know a little bit more about who we are at CTA. But thank you for listening to me today. And like I said, I hope to chat with many of you in the breakout rooms at the conclusion.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Lindsay. And as Lindsay just stated, we will be holding a breakout room session at the conclusion of all of our employer presentations. So please plan to stick around for that. You'll be able to meet with all of the folks that will be presenting here today, ask any questions that you do have, and hopefully connect with those folks and lead yourself to your next job and hopefully career trajectory or path. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Our next employer presenter today will be Worldwide Flight Services. Patrice, are you available to present?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. You can begin whenever you're ready, Patrice.
Okay, great. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all for considering Worldwide Flight Services. Our company is an aviation logistics company. So worldwide, we have over 32,000 employees. We operate in 22 countries around the globe. In the U.S., we have over 95 offices. At Worldwide Flight O'Hare, we handle the cargo that comes into the Chicago area from overseas. If you guys have been watching the news lately, you've noticed a lot of situations where they're talking about boats being left out of the California harbors because they don't have room or time to go through them and go through the process of taking off the cargo. Many of those companies have decided to start utilizing air freight because it's the best option. So that has added to the increase in our workload. We're happy to have it, though. We're not turning it down. So all of that comes to us on giant cargo planes. So instead of those things being shipped to us, they are flown. It takes about 12 hours to get to us from Asia in most cases. That's one of the reasons that our company is growing, and we're adding more space for our cargo operations. So a plane is loaded in several cities in Asia and Europe. The plane has about 4 pilots, and each team has 2 pilots flying at a time. The other one naps while they bring the cargo over here to our area. The plane arrives, and our cargo team of employees, maybe you, one day remove all of the cargo from the plane. The warehouse team takes the cargo and inventories it to make sure that everything is arrived in good shape. They work with U.S. Customs to make sure that an inspection is done, to make sure that these are items that can be sold in the United States. So that confirms that these are things that are actually eligible for sale in the U.S. It's not bogus cargo. The office agent team then takes over, and they process the paperwork from U.S. Customs and prepare it for the truckers to take out their items. So once the team and the items are approved, the truckers come in from the larger big box stores like Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, Big Lots, Target, and Walgreens, and they send their distribution team to pick up the cargo and take it to their distribution center. From there, it's taken to the store where you buy it. So in Chicago, we have anywhere between 500 and 700 employees. Most of them are in the cargo area at O'Hare. And these employees are warehouse employees. These are union positions. They pay between $17 and $20 an hour. These are entry-level jobs. We pay more for people who are experienced in the cargo area. They offer full benefits. We're also filling supervisor positions that we have available. Our office agents handle the paperwork and process the various items that come in. Every airport has an import and export shipment area for us. These positions work around the clock. We're a 24/7 operation. We literally never close and never shut down. We offer paid training for all of our positions. We're in the process of filling about 60 to 100 positions in the O'Hare area. We offer full-time positions in warehouse and cargo. If you're interested in working part-time, we have positions in material handling. The part-time position is a great job if you're a college student who's living in Chicago while attending school. It's great for anybody who's looking to add a few hours to their work schedule already. If you have people who work from home. This is a great opportunity. Teachers love this job because it allows them to work around their busy schedule. For this position, you would be working 20 hours a week. It's Tuesday through Friday. No weekends are involved. At Midway, we offer various positions such as passenger assistance work and ramp service agents. If you're interested in those positions, for the passenger service agent, we're looking for people who speak a variety of languages: Spanish, French, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, Finnish, Arabic, Hindu, Urdu, and Ethiopian. So these employees handle the reservation changes, printing tickets, assisting the guests with their luggage, and making sure that the luggage gets to the luggage handling company. Can you go to the second slide, please? We look for part and full-time applicants for passenger service. That position pays about $15 an hour. The ramp agent position also pays $15 an hour. You're working exclusively with luggage for passengers. The ramp agent loads and unloads the luggage for the passenger plane. They're working with the luggage directly, and they work a varied schedule based on the flight schedule for the flights that are coming in. At Worldwide, we're always looking for employees that we can promote. We believe in hiring from within and promoting from within. So we provide leadership training. We provide an incentive for our employees to bring us new applicants. We offer transfer capabilities throughout our facilities worldwide, and we groom our employees for success. Here we treat our employees like family. We work as a team to make our growth and success happen. So if you're interested in joining our team, I ask that you give us a call. I'm going to list my phone number, that is 630-453-0116. I'll be happy to schedule you to come in and see the business and get you started. We hire on the spot. Our next training class is set for December 13th. We offer full benefits, again, medical, dental, vision, life, short and long-term disability. We have a 401k plan with an employee match and the employee assistance program. So I look forward to hearing from all of you, and thank you for considering us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Patrice. And just want to reiterate for the folks that are new or have just joined the session, we will be holding a breakout rooms portion of the event. So you will be able to ask any other questions that you do have to these folks during that time. So please reserve your questions for, again, the breakout rooms portion of the event that will be following all of our employer presentations. Thank you so much again, Patrice. Our next employer will be UPS, and I do believe we have Tina on the line to present. Tina, are you available?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? Okay, I'm actually presenting for the UPS with our available positions. And what we currently have right now are 5 positions available for different locations. We have a UPS Addison out in Illinois, located on 100 South Lombard. We have personal vehicle drivers paying the dollar amount of $21 an hour plus 56 cents per mile. We have warehouse workers for $20 an hour and driver's helpers at $18 an hour. We also have another location, which is in Bedford Park, Illinois, which is located at 6700 West 73rd Street out in Bedford Park. And that position is for a preloader paying $17 an hour. We have another location, which is Franklin Park, which is located at 9545 Fullerton in Franklin Park, Illinois. They have personal vehicle drivers currently available at $21 an hour plus 56 cents per mile. And then we also have driver helpers, which are $18 an hour. That's what it's paying. And then we have another Palatine location at 2050 North Hicks Road. They have personal vehicle drivers paying $21 an hour plus the 56 cents per mile. warehouse workers at $20 an hour, and drivers helpers at $18 an hour. Our last location that's hiring is for the North Brook, which is 2525 Sherman Road. And they have personal vehicle drivers at $21 an hour, plus the 56 cents per mile, warehouse workers at $21 an hour. And then we have another preloader that's paying $19 an hour, which is our twilight hour. So how everyone would apply for those positions is just go to our general website, which is upsjobs.com, and click on to the location position for any one of those positions. If you wanted to apply for all of them, you could put in the location that you are actually searching for and apply for that job, and wait for someone to contact you immediately because they're looking for those right now. I appreciate everyone's time, and I'm looking forward to speaking to any future candidates for the breakout room.
Thank you so much for
Thank
that presentation, Tina. And again, if you do have any questions for Tina, please plan to stick around for that portion of the event. Our next presenter here today will be United Ground Express. And Dina, I know we have you on the line. Are you available to present? And I know you'll be sharing your screen as well. So are you able to do so?
I am. I will go ahead and share that screen right now. All right, I will go ahead, get this into presentation mode. You guys could see this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Deanna. I am the recruiter over at O'Hare. United Ground Express, we are a subsidiary of United Airlines, which I'm sure most, if not all of you, are very familiar with. We help support them in a variety of different ways. We're in about 70 different locations across the US. Most of the locations are doing customer service and ramp positions. Of course, United does do that here in Chicago as one of their hubs. So we help them out in a little bit of a different way at O'Hare, which is passenger assistance. So with passenger assistance, it's a customer service type of role where you are assisting passengers who need additional assistance getting to the plane. The main way we do that is via wheelchair. So, whether they're elderly, disabled, or, O'Hare is a very big airport. If you just can't make that 20-minute walk all the way across the airport, that's where we come in and help provide that wheelchair service to our passengers. We also offer lobby assistance as well, and that is checking bags in for our passengers. So, weighing the bag, going ahead and getting that bag onto the bag belt so that we can go ahead, get everyone checked in onto security and onto their flight safely and on time. That is our main goal here. So we are hiring for this role. Both part-time and full-time are available. And from this role, there is a lot of room for growth as well. That's probably my favorite thing about this company, actually. From this position, you can grow into lead or dispatch, time and attendance, compliance coordinator, even up to supervisor and manager levels. So there's lots of room for growth within this company as well. Of course, we do offer a lot of benefits. My favorite one, of course, is the flight benefits. You do get to fly for free on standby with United. You also have access to their discounts. You could get 20% off, and that applies to your friends and family as well. So we're not going to make you travel alone. You get to bring your people with you. We're also offering a $1,000 sign-on bonus right now, as well as another $400 special award bonus that is going out in February of this year. So this is actually a perfect time to get started with us. We'll probably get you started before February, and then you can go ahead and be eligible for that bonus as well. As far as the hiring timeline goes, first thing is, of course, apply online. Those are QR codes that go directly to our applications. If you could just submit your application there, that would be the perfect first step. After that, you would come in for an interview. We do walk-in interviews, mostly Tuesdays and Thursdays, but also other days of the week. Our most up-to-date event schedule can be found on our website, unitedgroundexpress.com/events. But as long as that application is in online, we'll be happy to have you in for an interview. After that, of course, would come the job offer. You would have to pass a background check, a drug screen, and a fingerprint clearance before we're able to get you in for orientation and training. Overall, I would say the process takes about 3 weeks from the date of your interview to the time you get started in orientation. So lots of fun stuff going on at O'Hare. I would love to connect with you. That is my personal email address right on top, deanna.hands@unitedgroundexpress.com. If you need more information, have any questions, want to know more about events, anything like that, send me over an email and I'll obviously direct you in the right way. And then of course that link over at the bottom that just shows our event schedule. So you know where to find us, how to meet us so that we can actually go ahead and get that process started. And I will go ahead and stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation, Deanna. And just again, want to reiterate for the folks that have just joined us, if you do have any questions for Deanna regarding career opportunities with United Ground Express, please feel free to drop into their breakout room at the conclusion of all of our employer presentations, where you'll be able to ask any questions that you do have. Thank you again, Deanna. Our next employer presenter today will be FedEx. Moises, are you on the line to present, sir?
Yes, I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Excellent. We could go on to the next slide, please. All right, so I am with FedEx Freight. You can see here, this is a kind of a bird's eye view of the FedEx. I would say umbrella. FedEx Corporation would be made up of 6 operating companies. As you can see, I represent the one that's toward the bottom right, FedEx Freight, which is a LTL company, less than truckload. Pretty much what we ship is palletized freight. Many of you may have seen FedEx Ground, which is non-prioritized shipment, less than 150. Express, which is really an airline company, shipments under 150. Services backend is pretty much backend support. Logistics would be a lot of container and ship transport, and FedEx Office, where you can get your printing and shipping needs that are pretty much available throughout a lot of the communities. And we could go on to the next slide, please. And this is at a glance what freight, pretty much the structure of it. We have about 155 plus shops. Actually, it should be a little bit more because we just added a few since this slide was developed. I know we have a new one here in Schaumburg, state-of-the-art facility. We have about 370 service centers across the country, 30,000 motorized vehicles, about 44,000 team members. And then these next two numbers probably have gone up since the pandemic, 100,000 average daily shipments and about 7.1 billion in FY20 revenues. We could go ahead on the next slide. And then this is just pretty much where we cover pretty much all of the US, including Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico, as well as the US Virgin Islands. And also that we pretty much are have the fastest published transit times of LTL service. Next slide, please. And these are some of the benefits that come with working for us as an employee. You definitely would get medical, vision, dental, paid time off, short-term and long-term disability, 401k, tuition assistance. In case you're wondering, if it's part-time, it's $3,000. If it's full-time, it's $5,000 a year. Stock purchase plan as well. And for part-timers, insurance, I would say kicks in about 90 days after hire. Next. And these are some of the frontline operations positions that we have available. We have city drivers, road drivers, driver apprentices, freight handlers, technicians. Those would be diesel mechanics, supervisors, the operations facilities, service center support, which is pretty much office, other positions as well. But for the purposes of this today, I'll be pretty much focused on all the ones aside from the corporate HR, communications, and safety on this call. I'll go into a little bit more detail on the next slides on these positions. All right, so these are where you could pretty much start with us. You could come in as a CDL driver. I'm sorry, a city and road driver both require a CDL Class A driver's license. You have to have at least 1 year of actual on-road verifiable experience within the last 3 years. If you do not have that, you can also come in some centers as a driver apprentice. You would need to have your CDL permit, or have already completed a program and received your CDLA license, but don't have necessarily the 1-year experience, you could come in as a driver apprentice. Freight handlers, we currently have part-time openings. Our full-time openings come about pretty much internally. We have a lot of interest when those come out, and that's been pretty much the case the last couple of years. So it's not over if you just come in part-time, just hang in there. And there are many opportunities to go into full-time. We have at some locations service center support, and I know diesel technicians as well. We have at some locations, I want to say Summit, Forest View, Schaumburg, and I think that may be it. Next slide, please. And right here it starts going into breakdown of what the positions entail. Freight handlers, you will be trained, certified to operate a forklift. Part-time starts at $21.41 an hour. It's about 5-6 hours a day. There are occasions you may be asked to assist a little bit more than that. City driver starts at $32.95 an hour. Those are pretty much local pickup and delivery. I want to say they work pretty much AM and in the afternoons. Driver apprentices, they are pretty much groomed to go into a city driver or road driver position. Road driver, I want to say about 98% of the time, those are overnight positions. Those are compensated by the mileage. Currently, it's at 75 cents a mile. As you can imagine, a lot of the tenured folks would have the long distance routes. Much of the newer folks will be doing shorter distances, and they will be doing dock work during the times they are not driving. And you're probably wondering, well, how much are they compensated? For being in the dock, they're going to be compensated at the city driver rate, which would be $32.95 an hour. Let me see here, technicians. Right now for Summit, we are starting at $31 an hour. I believe there's a premium if it's second shift, another $1, and another $1.50 if it's third shift. I want to say Summit may be doing second or third shift. We also have Schaumburg. Schaumburg's at $28.20 an hour. Service center support, I don't have the list, but I want to say it's maybe about 2-3 locations. That one is a range, and it does depend on experience. I want to say it's probably fall somewhere about between $18 and $20 an hour. And we could go on to the next slide, please. Probably the next 3 slides, including this one, it involves some of the, or mentions some of the competitions that we have been involved in. Given that there's been that pandemic, a lot of these events have been postponed or canceled, at least for the time being. I know this one mentions a truck driving championship, and then there's also an internal freight handling competition that we participate, that we have going on among our centers. You go on to the next slide. This is the top range would cover the technicians, those that service our fleet. And just something I did not mention, an automotive technology background, or at least a year experience in that, does qualify you for a diesel technician position. These are some of the other positions that other competitions we compete in, the TMC Super Tech as well, and Top Range. So we could go on to the next one. As in all of our industries, safety is definitely important. It's pretty much you want to come to work in one piece and leave home in one piece. So that's pretty much the emphasis here, and probably cover some of the accolades that we've had. And let's see, go on to the next. And this is pretty much where you could get some of the information regarding our positions. You could definitely text to FXF. That would be the message, and then to 33011. And you would definitely get a link right there showing what positions you may be interested in. Or you could definitely go to the site and you would just enter the location, and you can populate what opportunities and service centers are available in your area. And I believe that is all I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that presentation, Moises. And again, just want to reiterate, we'll be holding a breakout rooms portion of the event here shortly. where you'll have an opportunity to ask Moises or any of our other employer presenters here today any questions that you do have regarding the positions that they currently have available. Thank you so much. Our next presenter is going to be Superior Ambulance. Nathaniel, are you able to present?
Good afternoon. Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nathaniel Gaither. I am the Community Liaison for Superior Ambulance. We are the #1 ambulatory service, transportation ambulatory service in the Midwest. We have 5 different markets, Illinois being one, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio. Next slide, please. This is just part of the company history. The CEO of our company now bought the company from his father for about $35,000 and have grown it into a multi-million-dollar company. The company has been in existence since 1959. And back then in 1959, the ambulances doubled up as hearses. So it's a lot to that history. And I can share that with you in the breakout room. Next slide, please. So this is some of the things that we do. We have a couple of helicopters, a couple of organ transportation Lear jets. We also have the contract with Cook County Health and Hospital Systems. We also do all the special events, all the collegiate, all major league sports. We do the cancer breast walk, and we do all the concerts. So if you get hired and you see a concert coming up that you want to be a part of, you can talk to your supervisor and let them know ahead of time that you would like to work that venue. Next slide, please. So as I spoke earlier, we are in 5 different markets. We have over 3,500 employees, 3 helicopters, and it has grown since. So some of this is just a little bit off, but we do have opportunities, not for jobs, but we have opportunities for career. You can always move up within the company. So I would suggest that Superior Ambulance is a great company to start your career with. Next slide. As I was speaking earlier, we do the sporting events, the concerts, festivals, special gatherings. We do training. We have paid training for the IMC, which is the Illinois Medical Transportation Company. And that's an 8-day training. We also have a 2-week training for the EMR, which is the Emergency Medical Responders Training. Those are the ones that work on the back of the ambulance with the paramedics. We also have a 12 to 13-week EMT program, which I am so happy to announce to you all that we just had our first graduating class of November of 2021 from the Black Fire Brigade. We had 9 individuals who passed that course, and they will be going on to be emergency medical technicians. Next slide, please. So these are some of the things that we have participated in. We have had firefighters and paramedics to go through Hurricane Katrina. We dealt with the devastation in Hurricane Sandy. And as you can see, we've been all over the country, and we have made a mark there that we like helping people. We like helping our community. This is why we hire within our community, because we know it's a greater need to service the people in our communities. Next slide. So these are some of our partners who we are in partnership with. As I spoke, we have contracts with Cook County Health and Hospital Systems. Now we have a special contract with Mount Sinai, and over on the west side, Mount Sinai have had patients who are not able to pay for transportation. So we offer them free services. So this is one reason that we need to have great candidates apply for our positions. And as you can see, we have other hospital partners that we're in partnership with. Next slide, if there is one. So you can apply, go into the recruiting station or go to the ambulance website. But most of all, when you come to the breakout room, I can explain to you a quicker way that we can get this done if you're interested. And I hope that you are interested in starting a brand new career. This is not just a job. This is not just a 9 to 5. This is a career where you're doing some greater good for the community. So thank you for allowing me to give a presentation. Look forward to speaking with you in our breakout sessions.
Excellent presentation. Thank you for that, Nathaniel. And again, please plan to stick around for our breakout rooms where you'll have a chance to speak to not only Nathaniel, but all of the great employers that we do have on the line here today. Thank you, sir. And our final employer presenter that we have here today before we open up those breakout rooms is the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Karen and/or Tio, are you available to present?
Yes.
Excellent. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good morning. Sorry. Good afternoon. I'm Karen Gunn. I'm the Associate Manager of Employment Partnerships at the Greater Chicago Food Depository. And usually when you hear the Greater Chicago Food Depository, you think of food banks, food pantries, shelters, and things of that nature. But we understand that there's more than one way to feed people, and that's where our training components come in. Next slide. GCFD has a network of over 700 food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other programs. And as I mentioned, we strongly believe in the more than one way to fight hunger. Next slide. Go ahead, Teo. Okay. Supply chain training, you can keep going. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. We're going straight to slide 13. Supply chain training is what we're talking about. And as you know, the supply chain industry has been in the forefront in all the headlines. Our training, our supply chain training, next slide, consists of, it's a 7-week program that consists of, it's called the CLA training, which is Certified Logistics Associates Training. It is a 7-week program that is Monday through Thursday from 8 to 3:30. It is a paid training. We pay $15 an hour. And next slide. And we also provide you with hands-on training in our warehouse as well as classroom training that will allow you to become certified not only in OSHA 10, but as forklift drivers as well as some other equipment. And I'm gonna pass it to my coworker from here, Teo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just jump in here. So Daniel, if you can jump to slide 20. We'll pick the next one after
You
that.
just let me know, Tio, when you want me to.
The next one right after this, I'm sorry.
Gotcha, no worries.
So as my colleague Karen Gunn briefly touched on, our supply chain program, our flagship here is the Certified Logistics Associate Training Program. Eligibility for this program, you must be at least 18 years of age or older, resident of Cook County, have a valid government issued ID, state ID, driver's license. You must be eligible to work in the US. And more recently, as of January 3rd, the Food Depository has mandated that all trainees, pretty much all staff and trainees, must show proof of vaccination. I know that's a direction that a lot of employers are headed, so we're already there. So that's really important to keep in mind. You must also, you have to be able to pass a federal level drug screening. I understand that Illinois' recreational marijuana is legal at a state level, but federal level, to work in supply chain, of course, we have to be able to pass those drug screenings. So that is definitely one of the more important requirements we have for our training program. On top of the drug screening, you have to be able to pass a physical, your physical exam, which is pushing or lifting anywhere between 25 to 50 pounds. That's part of that. We also ask all applicants or interested parties, they must be able to pass 8th grade level math and reading assessments to qualify for the program. I'm sorry about that. And of course, just to remind everyone, our training is from Monday through Thursday, 8 to 3:30 p.m. And this is an in-person training. You must be able to make it on site. And again, we're looking for folks that are positive, have can-do attitudes, and come ready. You know, show up to show out. That's what we say around our parts here. And I don't know, Miss Karen, I just passed that over real quickly to her. She wanted to add something here.
Not only does the training, it's paid training, $15 an hour. We also provide you with transportation assistance. If you're driving, we give you a gas card every Friday. Taking public transportation, you receive a bus card every Friday. If you need be, we also have Uber grants available. We will also help you with any clothing, footwear, anything that has to do with uniforms that are needed once you've completed your training and you are hired, or even having the right clothing for the training itself. We will provide you with those training, with that assistance. In addition to the industry-specific certifications, which is the OSHA 10, the NCS forklift, as well as the MSSC certification, we also provide you with job and career counseling and job readiness training. I work with you as all along the 7-week period of training. But at the very end, I really work closely with you to refer you to those positions, some of which you just heard about today, these companies that are hiring, so you can jumpstart your career. There's so many different services, wraparound services that we offer during this training period, because we understand that it takes so much to get a person that's unemployed or underemployed on their feet. And we are up to the challenge that it presents, because you're not alone. And we want you to understand that from day one. You come in and you join a family that sticks with you throughout your journey. And we are very, very hands-on with everything. With speaking with hands-on, Teo, can you tell them more about the training itself?
Absolutely. So just piggybacking on what Karen mentioned earlier in terms of certifications, all applicants are you're able to walk out of here with anywhere between 4 to 7 different certifications. Front end of training, all our trainees receive OSHA 10 General Industry certification. That's a lifetime certification. There's no need to renew that or anything. In terms of hands-on material handling equipment, we here offer NSC certification, National Safety Council forklift certification or lift truck certifications, class 1, 2, and 3, which encompass electric pallet jacks, rider walkers, counterbalance sit-down forklifts, and our narrow aisle lift trucks or reach trucks. So those are the 3 different equipments that we do give hands-on training here in the facility. And a unique part of our training is we don't have a training space. We don't have a dedicated training warehouse, anything like that. We're not rolling like that. You're actually working in a living, breathing warehouse, our own warehouse. It's roughly about 216,000 square feet. And that is where we have our trainees working during the day. They'll team up with our staff here on hand, our operations team. They receive mentorship, the guidance, and all those hands-on training that we're going to need to get you guys out in the workforce.
We're going to wrap this up because, again, we're trying to be respectful of the time period. There's so much more information that we'd like to share with you in the breakout room. So if you have any additional, or if you have any questions, or you want to know more about the training program that we offer, please definitely step by the breakout room. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to both Karen and Tio for that presentation. Again, just want to reiterate, if you do have any questions for these folks or any of the employer presenters who have presented here today, please stick around for the breakout rooms portion of the event, which is actually coming up right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is give just a real brief overview of what to expect for the breakout rooms portion of the event, things that you'll need to be aware of, and some of the rules and ground rules that we'll want to abide by. So you'll see here, this slide should be familiar to you from the beginning of our presentation here. Again, you want to be sure if you're having issues accessing the breakout rooms that you have the most recent version of Zoom client for meetings downloaded. You can do so at zoom.us/download. Again, you'll only need to do this if you're finding you're having issues again, kind of joining those breakout rooms, moving from room to room, so on and so forth. Next here, you'll see up on the screen just a few screenshots that I took to serve kind of as a basic kind of instructional piece, if you will, here. So you'll see that first screenshot there is just a screenshot of the Zoom toolbar. You will not see that breakout rooms icon that is outlined in the red square right there quite yet, not until I open up the breakout rooms anyway. But one thing to note, if you're joining via laptop or desktop, this is the image that you will see. Let me navigate back to that real quick. This is the image that you will see when I open up those breakout rooms. So what will happen is when I open up those rooms, that icon will pull up in your toolbar. You'll click on that breakout rooms icon. Then our second screenshot here is what will open up. It'll just be a window with a complete listing of the employers that we do have on the line with us today. What you'll go ahead and do then, you'll see the red circle here again off to the right-hand side. It says join. You'll click that join button, and then it'll redirect you to that room. To be able to move from room to room, you'll just rinse and repeat that same cycle. So again, you'll move your cursor, your toolbar should pop up, click breakout rooms, that listing of the employers will show in that window again, and then you'll click the next room that you want to join, so on and so forth. One other thing that I do want to mention here, the screenshots that were provided, again, were from my laptop. So if you are joining via mobile device, so cell phone, tablet, something similar like that, you may not see the breakout rooms icon in your main toolbar. You may have to click this more tab that you see off to the right-hand side. When you click that, what should come up is a drop-down menu or window, if you will. About halfway down, there'll be a selection for breakout rooms. When you click that, the same thing should open up that you see in the second screenshot. So again, that window with a complete listing of employers that we have, and then you'll click join to join whatever room you'd like to, and then you'll just repeat that process as you see fit. We would like to encourage you to meet with all of the employers that we do have on the line today, just because there's one or two in particular that stand out to you. Remember, a lot of them have opportunities that fall into whatever your particular skill set or wheelhouse is. So don't overlook any of the employers that we have on the line here today. Reach out to them, talk to them, get to know them, and ask any questions that you do have. I will put that screen back up on the slide, by the way, for folks to refer to during the session. If you just overview things, again, each employer rep will be designated to their breakout room. We'll have a member of the planning team in there with them as well for troubleshooting. You'll see the second bullet point there is not entirely accurate. Today, we will be having a 30-minute session that'll be taking place. And then the last point there, you'll see when we do open this up, you will have the ability to move freely throughout all the employer rooms. We do encourage you to unmute yourself, to turn your cameras on. But the last point here that we just want to go ahead and kind of highlight here are some just basic ground rules. Obviously, just be mindful of the time that you're taking. Once you've asked your question, received your response, make sure that you mute yourself to allow other job seekers the same opportunity. Again, we encourage you to share your video and your camera and unmute yourself, but just please keep things respectful and professional. If you have your camera on, just be mindful everybody's able to see what's going on in the background. So just be aware of those things. The second bullet point here that you'll see is if you opt to be disruptive or inconsiderate to your fellow job seekers, you will be given a verbal warning. Again, if you choose to disregard that warning, you will be permanently placed on mute. You will not be kicked out of the session. However, if you are muted, you'll still be able to stay in and ask questions through the chat. But again, just please note if that happens, you'll kind of take, you won't be priority status anymore, if that makes sense. So the folks that have not had that verbal warning will have their questions answered first, and the employers will then answer your questions as time permits. Again, if you cause further disruption through that chat feature, we do have partner staff in the room that'll have the ability to eject you from the session if need be. The way Zoom works is if you're ejected, you will not be permitted re-entry. One final thing I want to know before we open up these rooms real quick. If you're not, for whatever reason, able to see the breakout rooms icon, able to join a room yourself, so on and so forth, you can always message me in the chat and let me know which employer you'd like to meet with. Again, I can manually assign you to a room. If you're not able to join yourself, you'll just have to be sure to accept my invite to you when that window pops up, and then you should be able to be redirected to that room. Real quickly here, I'm just going to name off who we have on the session. We've got Chicago Transit Authority, Worldwide Flight Services, UPS, United Ground Express, FedEx, Superior Ambulance, and the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So those are the employers that we do have on the line here today. Again, we're going to set our timer to 30 minutes. That will show in the upper right-hand corner, so you will be able to see how much time is left in the session. After that 30th minute, I do have a 60-second countdown timer set here. So what that essentially means is once that 30th minute has elapsed, you'll get a notice here, or warning, if you will, that'll pop up, a window that'll say you have 1 minute left in the session. That'll be kind of the notice to you that it's time to wrap up whatever conversations are taking place and get ready to be redirected back to the main session, which we are in now. So I do believe that completes all of our kind of introductory information that I wanted to share with you all. Again, if you're having issues joining the room, just message me who you'd like to meet with, and I will send you there. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and open up these rooms. Thank you. And our rooms are open now. For job seekers, you should be able to begin joining those rooms.
Go ahead.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I think we do have a majority of the folks back in now from our waiting room. So again, just want to make a few kind of concluding remarks for today's session. But before I go ahead and do so, Robert, would you like to make any sort of closing statements regarding today's session?
Thank you, Daniel. And I want to thank all of our employers. Thank you so much for all of the opportunities that you presented to candidates today. We appreciate what you offer, and we hope and will follow through with you that you did get some opportunities to speak with folks that will be your future staff. And to all of the attendees, thank you very much. We will have more of these type of opportunities to share with you. Hopefully you did get to connect with these great employers. I do want to bring some light to the fact that the TDL Sector Center will be doing another virtual job fair on January 14th, pretty much the same format. Marketing will be going out for that shortly, and we look forward to speaking with you at that point as well. So thank you to the entire SIU team, the IDES team, Circle, and the BCS team for helping us put this entire event together. And of course, the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership and all that they do, Pat Moore and everyone included. So thank you all, and we appreciate it, and look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Thank you so much, Robert. And just a few things that I'd like to note here before we log off. Like I've said multiple times throughout the session, we have recorded today's session. So I will be uploading it within 48 hours or so to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel under the Virtual Job Fairs playlist. At that location, you'll be able to see this video and all of the other virtual job fairs recordings that we've held in the past as well. Again, you can reference this video, all of the information that was contained in it to reference any information that you need prior to filling out those applications. Again, just want to say a big thank you and shout out to the TDL Sector Center, Chicago Workforce Partnership, all of our employers, state agencies, everybody else that I'm neglecting to include here. Thank you all so much for your time today. Appreciate you. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.
Daniel.